special way. The second piece would then go across their shoulder with their right shoulder showing. And sometimes when they're just walking from place to place, they take that top piece and wrap it around both their shoulders. So you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, 1 million men all dressed the same. You really wouldn't know that man next to you if he's rich, he's poor, he's struggling, if he has an easy life. You couldn't even tell if he was the king of a country. Now, these pilgrimages do get very colourful, and that's actually us ladies. Now, we're asked to wear just a plain piece of material, so I definitely couldn't wear this abaya. It has to be plain, doesn't matter about the colour, but as long as there's no patterns, no jewellery, no diamonds, no makeup. So it really is about going here with just those bare essentials. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to somewhere like this for up to 10 days with that amount of people, with those bare essentials, a couple of things it makes us realise that number one, yes, we are all equal. And number two, that we come to this life with nothing. And again, the only thing we're going with is actually these deeds. Now, not many people know this, but that Hajj pilgrimage that we perform is actually all based upon Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, and his wife and son. We are just literally recreating some of the things they went through. You know, Prophet Abraham, he is the father of all religions, and like I said earlier, we do have the most high respect for all the other prophets and messengers of God. So a couple of them stories. When Prophet Abraham reached the desert with his wife and son, God said to him, leave your wife and son and go and get help. So he obeyed God, but when he was walking away, he actually heard whispers of the devil. So he just picked up some pebbles and literally chucked them over his shoulder to make the whispers disappear. So one of the rituals we have to do is actually collect 21 small little pebbles. This is what they look like. They're just little pieces of concrete, and I do believe they actually make them specially. So we collect 21 of those. We then actually visit these big rocks that would represent the devil and chuck 7 pebbles at each rock. Now, when he did leave his wife and son, she was there in the middle of the desert on her own with her child. So for one of the nights, we do actually have to sleep or sit out in the open. And you know, really, when you're a lady sitting there in the pitch black, it makes you realise she had a lot of faith in God to have stayed there in the middle of the desert on her own with her child. Now, she was also in desperation looking for water. So one of the other rituals that we have to do is walk between these 2 mountains 7 times. Sounds easy, but you try doing it with that amount of people. You'll be surprised how long it can take you just to get from A to B. Now, I'm sure you all heard of the story of when God asked Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, to sacrifice his son. And when he went to do that, God replaced it with a ram. You know, God would never ask anyone to sacrifice their child, but the reason he done that, because again, he wanted to see how obedient mankind would actually be. So at the end of this pilgrimage, we do actually have to sacrifice an animal, but not us personally, thank God. We pay someone, they sacrifice an animal, and then all of that meat is actually collected and given out to people that don't have food. So really, for us personally, we hope and pray that every year from this pilgrimage, there is a lot of people out there that do actually get fed. Now, I was saying earlier about Prophet Muhammad taking care of the environment and the animals. So when these animals are sacrificed, it's done in the most humane way possible without the less suffering for these animals. You know, this is what we call halal, and it's done in the name of God. So when you go to the supermarket and you see the chicken that's got stamped on it halal, it's just a peace of mind knowing that that animal has been sacrificed in the name of God and had the most less suffering. You know, animals do have feelings, they do have souls, so it's about doing, and we can only actually kill an animal for us to, you know, to consume, to actually for mankind to actually eat. So we're not allowed to kill an animal for any other reason. So when you go to pay your money, they will actually also give you a choice. If you'd like your sacrifice to take place in Saudi Arabia, or they will send the money to the country of your choice and actually do the sacrifice in that country. Now, me and my colleagues, we often talk about this and we say how sad really is it to think that we've actually reached 2024 and there are still countries out there solely depending on things like this so they can have a bowl of rice and meat for like 6 months out of the year. You know, I personally think when we look around the world and see the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, there's something definitely not right in that somewhere. But let's hope that with all the determination, dedication and prayers that we actually have in the world, that really in the future something can actually change. And you know, with all of that, we actually take our hats off to Saudi Arabia, that every year they open their doors to their country, catering for this many people from all over the world, keeping them as healthy and as safe as they possibly can. So that's the fifth and final pillar of Islam, ladies and gentlemen.